Hi, friends. This is your next practice. Today, we're going to be learning about EFT or emotional freedom technique or tapping, has a few different names. And even if you are already familiar with this practice, definitely hang out for a minute. You might get some good pointers to improve your practice or learn something new. So EFT is based on the oldest and most studied, one of the most studied systems of medicine on our planet. Part of traditional Chinese medicine is understanding that there is a system of energy in the body, a system that transports vitality and communication to the different systems, and it's called the meridian system. So you can think about it like channels similar to the circulatory system. It's kind of like cross between the circulatory system and the nervous system. There's a lot of communication that happens through it, but there's also energy, like vitality, life force, that moves to the different systems of the body through these channels. And then along these channels are sort of like gates that are called acupuncture or acupressure points. And these gates have access to different organs, different psychological aspects. And by stimulating the system, we can mitigate or balance how those gates are functioning, and then how the corresponding organs and psychological components and overall balance of the body is functioning. So by stimulating the system, we create balance in the body. If there's deficiencies in certain area, and emotionally we might feel that as collapse, helplessness, hopelessness, depression, heaviness, or if there's excess like fear, anger, even certain kinds of excitement or addiction, where there's a lot happening. Sometimes we have blocks where there might be numbness, feeling totally disconnected, and this can rebalance all of that. It can bring in energy where there isn't any. It can balance out energy where there's excess, and it can open up channels where there's blocks. So very, very valuable for working with our emotional systems, very valuable for being able to explore what's going on deeper levels of our consciousness. So that's part of it, is that we are going to be stimulating these points. Now, the first thing that I want to offer as a troubleshooting, if you've ever experienced EFT and you say it doesn't work for you, there's just overwhelming evidence that this is a indisputably effective method of creating balance in the body. But in all of these studies, there's a practitioner present. So the person who's applying these techniques is somebody who's skilled and trained, versus with EFT, we're applying it to ourselves and we do it by tapping. So I'm going to be going through exactly how we do this, but I just want to note that if you ever are having trouble with your EFT practice or your tapping practice, the first place to look is, are you being a good practitioner to yourself? So being a good practitioner to yourself means a degree of separation, like a degree of divested from the problem. If we come to our practice, I'm going to fix this thing, I'm going to fix this broken thing, I'm going to get rid of this thing, I'm going to get rid of this feeling, I'm going to fix this broken aspect of myself. It's a really different orientation than a practitioner would approach you. And a practitioner is going to approach you with a lot of goodwill, a lot of trust in your system, a lot of respect for your body, a lot of respect for who you are, with a lot of permission, hopefully a lot of consent being established. So there's this goodwill that's present. Practitioner is also going to be coming with a lot of trust because they have that training. They're going to be coming with a lot of knowing that this is going to be effective. So when you're approaching your EFT practice, I recommend that you take a minute and get oriented into being a practitioner for yourself. So get grounded in some goodwill for yourself, some appreciation for yourself. Orient towards the problem like it's a solvable problem. I'm going to I'm going to go take care of this. I'm going to care for this. I'm going to create resolution. Really different orientation than like, I hate this part of myself, and if I just freaking tap enough, then I'll get rid of it. So that's the first piece. So I'm kind of leaning in to the second part of the EFT formula. Part of it is the tapping, which we'll go over in more detail. The other part of it is the psychological process, which is to oscillate between something that feels dangerous into something that feels good. And that oscillating reprograms our system to find safety. So if we think of something that feels dangerous and then we balance it out immediately with something that feels safe, it creates a bridge to where the thing that felt dangerous can start to feel safe. And it's really beautiful, and it's a lot more effective than, say, just pure affirmation, because it acknowledges the pain, it acknowledges the wound, which is, we talked about, it's a critical component that you meet the wound. We don't suppress, we don't bury, we don't pretend like it's not there, we don't put a smiley face on it when it actually feels like crap. So there's the allowing, permission granting, naming the feeling that doesn't feel good, and then there's the opportunity to meet it with a really different energy, a different vibration, different biochemistry, different neural pathways, different physiological responses. So when we put all of this together, what it looks like tapping on the body and then saying out loud or feeling, if that's easier for you, something along the lines of this: even though I have this feeling, I love and accept myself. Now you can, it really doesn't even matter what you say. You could say, feeling like throw up, look how cute my dog is. I'm a worthless piece of crap, but Mr. Snuggles is the best. Because even though your love is oriented towards Mr. Snuggles, it has to pass through your system to get there. So you actually still receive the benefit. That being said, if you can practice a thought that is in alignment with what you really do want to be thinking about yourself, all the better. But I just mentioned that just in case it feels unattainable at any point to feel forgiveness, acceptance, deep love, respect for yourself on specific topics. You can still use this as a modality. So that's this kind of the second part. The first part is that emotional honesty is so important in this process. And sometimes if we're doing our work on ourselves, we do a lot of devil's advocate. We soften what we really feel. We know that not the whole of us feels this way, so we don't want to say the worst part. But in some ways, it's sort of like there's a lot of different voices inside of us, and the ones that are really in pain don't ever get the mic because there's always somebody else there, some other little voice in the head that has a higher perspective or a more reasonable look on this, or it survived and is actually okay. And that actually has us maintain those voices that are actually in deep pain. Whereas if we can give them the mic, so it's not all of you that thinks this, it's not all of you that feels it, but what is the worst thing you think? What is the worst thought? What is the worst feeling? And can you daylight it and let that receive the benefit of your positive expectation and that affirmation? And again, talking about treasure hunting, that's where the treasure is. That's where the gems that haven't been purified and cut in crystalline form, that's where that lives, is those voices that we really are always trying to be like, yeah, but that's like, you're not gonna have any friends if you think that. So that's also part of the process, emotional honesty. So the way it looks when we put it all together is that we're going to tap a sequence of points. And at the same time, we're going to say out loud, even though I have this feeling, I deeply love and accept myself. And again, you can doctor those words to be whatever feels good to you. Now I'm tapping on the lower ribs here. You can see a little bit right here, and then under the arm, and then to each of the fingers, to the tips of each of the fingers. On the ring finger, it's on the opposite side. So there's a sheet, a diagram that shows you exactly where all of the points are so that you have that. And I'm also going to record a very short little audio that you can use kind of on the fly. You can download it and have it on your phone so it's available to you whenever you need it. And if you're on the fly and you don't remember all of the points, some kind of cheater ways to hit a lot of the points is to just tap on the chest, really anywhere on the rib cage that's accessible. So just not on the breasts, basically, but underneath the collarbone, close towards the armpit, all the way to the clavicle, or to the collarbone, sternum. There we go. And then underneath the breast as well, on the lower ribs on both sides. The points are close to the skin, so you don't have to tap really hard. And then underneath the armpit. So everywhere on the rib cage really is fair game. and then also the fingertips. One of my teachers says that this is like cheating. She's an acupuncturist, and she's like, you're not getting the real goods when you do it that way. And then another cheater is just the hairline. So if you can just remember rib cage, hairline, you're gonna hit enough points to feel a difference. So we're going to practice together, and this is a practice that we are going to be using in the next few sessions. So we're going to practice it today with just EFT, and then you'll learn some other ways of organizing around this as a practice. When you're using just EFT and you're not following along in any other sessions, it's really helpful to stick with what you're working on until you feel relief. And to manage your expectations, if you said something like, my mom issues, and you just stayed right there, you would eventually feel relief. But you can kind of see, it's like I've got a mountain and I'm using like a shovel to try and move it. Versus if you were to use this practice on something really specific, like one conversation, then you might be able to really feel a big difference going by line, different things that were said that you still have feelings about, or different feelings. And we call those aspects. So you have like a general topic that you're working on, and then underneath that topic, you have aspects. In the next session that we do, we're going to be using a particular organization to help organize a big complex issue into something more simple. It's called the book technique, where we break up an issue into like it's chapters of a book, and it's really helpful, and it'll kind of exemplify how to use this. But the way that I would like for you to start using this on your own as a practice is I want to see if you can become a little less tolerant of feeling like shit. So if something's got you by the, use this. What am I feeling? Can you bring it home to yourself? What am I feeling? And see if you can love yourself enough to provide some relief. So it could be anything. That conversation I had, I'm so disappointed with the way that went, or a car accident that you saw, or really anything that bums you out in your day, that hurts your feelings, anything that scares you. Instead of just trying to function on top of it, see if you can start to clean it up on the go, and it'll make a huge difference in the quality of your life. So again, we're going to practice together, and you can go ahead and pick any topic. It can be something that happened today, or it can be kind of a bigger thing. Maybe don't pick your super big T trauma on this one. Instead, let's maybe pick something that's like a 5 or less. And again, we're just going to give it a title and notice how it feels in your body. And then we're going to start tapping. Even though I have this topic, I deeply love and accept myself. And you can doctor the language if love and acceptance doesn't feel right to you. Nice deep breath. Even though this topic makes me feel, name what it makes you feel. Again, nice deep breath. I deeply love and accept myself, even though it makes me feel that way. If you can identify where you feel it in your body. When I think about this whole topic, stay general, stay on the topic, not on the details of the topic. I deeply love and accept myself. Nice deep breath. Even though this topic is really important to me, it's a big deal in my life, I deeply love and accept myself. Even though I have these feelings about it, you can just feel it in your body, or you can be repeating after me, whatever feels better to you. And completely forgive myself. Notice if that feels true. If not, doctor the language, make it true for you. Even though I still have these feelings about this topic, it's okay. I'm still here with myself. Nice deep breath. Even though this topic is part of my life, even though you can name your topic, say it out loud or say it internally. I deeply love and accept myself. Deep breath. It could be a belief about yourself. Even though I feel this way about it, nice deep breath about this topic. And I feel it in my body. I have some emotion words: angry, sad, deflated. Deep breath. Even though I feel this way and I feel it in this part of my body, I deeply love and accept myself. Nice deep breath, wiggle your toes. Nice audible sounds, let your brain know you're still safe. Even though I still have this topic and I still have some feelings, that's okay. I deeply love and accept myself. Now, if you want to, if you're feeling any relief at all about the topic in general, you can tell what is the worst part of it. What's the worst thought you think about it, the worst belief, the worst sensation in your body, the worst part of the circumstance? See if you can identify just one thing that's like, ugh, that part, and bring it up. Even though there's this part, name it. What is that part? And it makes me feel like, well, I still love and accept myself, even if it makes me feel like, what? Nice deep breath. Even though this part makes me feel, and I feel it, where do you feel it? If you can get clear, really clear on what is that thought or what is that part of the story? What is the belief? What is the feeling? What's the truth you could tell about it? Nice deep breath. Say that part. And I deeply love and accept myself. And then see if you can feel that comfort, that love and acceptance. Actually receive it and breathe. Take another minute and just get really clear on what this is. What is this one thing? Oh, that one part of it really got me. Even though it really got me, I love and accept myself. Even if I've been really affected by that one part, forgive myself. Nice deep breath. Deep breath. I love and accept myself, even if that one thing is there. Even if I feel, how do you feel? What are the emotion words? What are the actual sensations? Tightness in my stomach, heat in my chest. Nice deep breath. I love and accept myself even with these feelings. Take another couple breaths. And then I'm going to introduce some affirmations. It's always a nice idea to do this when you're feeling some relief towards the end. And again, make sure you doctor these to something that's actually palatable for you. Sometimes moving into an affirmation prematurely can feel like bleh. So see if you can find positive words that feel good to say, not positive words that you wish felt good to say. So what could we say? We could say, I'm willing to see this differently. I'm willing to see this in a way that feels better to me. I'm willing to feel better about this. I'm open to the possibility of someday feeling better about this. I'm open to the possibility of seeing this in a different light. Maybe there's another way of seeing this that feels better. Nice deep breath. I'm open to seeing this in some different ways. And if offering that up, if that opens up something for you and you find a new perspective, I'm going to teach you a last little thing, and we're going to use this in some of our sessions, so it's good to remember. So this is a point on the back of the hand. It's called the triple warmer or the 9 gamut. And this point is really helpful for integrating subconscious, unconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind. It's called the triple warmer because it relates to the 3 warmers of the body, the digestive tract, the sexual organs, and the heart lungs. So we put our hand to our heart and we press on this point on the back of the hand. You'll feel it. You can kind of feel, there it is. And using 2 fingers can help. So if you found any comforting thought on this subject, see if you can make it real for your body and believe it. You can say it out loud. And even if the comforting thought was, maybe I can feel better about this, and you're going to breathe it in, you're going to visualize that feeling flooding your body, becoming real, changing your neural pathways, changing your biochemistry. Just going to take a few minutes on whatever positive perspective shifts you're open to. And if this was all way premature, I'm so sorry. Think about your dog and just breathe that in. And then feel yourself radiating that out in every direction. That love for your dog, whatever positive intent you were able to find, into the earth, up into the sky, in front of you, behind you, in every direction. I'm going to take just 3 more breaths there. Really nice. So in review, as a practice, I want you to be using this daily to clean up your brushing your teeth, to just clean up anything that gets you twisted throughout your day so that you start to normalize just feeling good all day long. And it may be that some of your bumps and bruises throughout your day are tied to things that are bigger, deeper, more complex. And that's fine. You don't have to heal all of your developmental trauma every time you have a tapping session. But see if you can get to a place where you're finding relief, even for 5 minutes, taking that time to clean up whatever it is that you're feeling. Even thinking about things as you're driving or grocery shopping or whatever, and offering yourself a little tap and a little breath, a little comforting thought while you're feeling crappy about something can go a really long way. The heart of this, and the reason why this practice is so critical in this process and treasure hunting, is that we're learning to find love and acceptance around anything. That I can say the worst shit to myself, and I'm never going to abandon myself. The level of safety and comfort that that provides me, the level of freedom that that provides me, the access that it grants me to my own self, to my wisdom, to my experience, to everything that I have, all of my power, is just something you can't get any other way. If you don't have that kind of rapport with yourself, if you don't trust yourself, then you don't have access to yourself. You don't have access to your wisdom. You don't have access to your strength. And a lot of times when people have the experience of feeling like, I know I'm capable of more, I know I'm meant for more, I know my life could be more, this is a good place to look. You have a kind of relationship with yourself where you feel comfortable bringing everything you have, the good, the bad, the ugly. The other piece that's so valuable about this in terms of treasure hunting is that it also does some of the work of purifying. So it's not just a matter of like loving and accepting every weird little monster in our psyche. It's also a matter of maturing those little weird monsters into allies, that they become helpers and then eventually stop being unintegrated aspects and start being part of the whole. So it's a way of sorting out lies in our nervous system or patterns that aren't in play anymore, patterns that aren't about the present moment. And then this last portion, this integration point, letting the body know this is the most current information we have. The most current information we have is that we're safe and we're loved. The most current information that we have is that we can trust. The most current information that we have, and it updates the system so that you're not, part of you evolved, part of you learned a lesson, part of you moved forward, but then another part of you is still kind of running a pattern in the background. So yeah, just practice all day, every day, whenever you want. Big sessions, little sessions, 2-minute little tappers, hour-long full deals. And then you're going to be developing more skills with this practice in session with me. I'm going to be giving sessions that will involve tapping as well. So you'll have a little bit more creativity about how to use this practice in your life. All right. Well, happy tapping. I'll see you soon.